This is the 80s Show on iHeartRadio.
Say ho, ho, say ho, 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 ho. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Say ho, ho, say ho, whoa, ho, whoa. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Did you give the orgy of self-congratulation to people that don't really deserve it? Known as the Grammys. The big Missaroo last night? Yeah, you and me both. I find lately, just more out of principle than anything else, when I see something bad doing well, it just makes me angry. So to stop myself from putting my foot through my television set, I was like, Grammys, schmammies. There's a rerun of Lord of the Rings on, and I watched that. And, I watched that and then checked out the cliff notes of it this morning to see who actually won what. And it was just like I suspected. Had I actually sat there and watched what was happening with the Grammys, there's a very good possibility that there would now be a gaping hole in the screen of my television from where my foot went through it after Sam Smith, that fat fake F, picked up his 18 gazillionth award. Yay! Apparently they crank out awards now for ripping off Tom Petty. Fantastic. We'll get into that in just a little bit. We'll also talk about, well, when you've achieved something in the workplace, you feel like you deserve a bonus. There's one Chinese company that thinks you do, and the bonus is a pretty hefty one, pretty noticeable, pretty momentous occasion in your life, depending on which of the options you choose to take. One of which is a night with a porn star. The other one is a very nice car. What'd you get for your last bonus? Not a car or a porn star. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess. But you know what? What's interesting about people that win Grammys they don't deserve, and folks that put their nose to the grindstone and earn themselves a night with a porn star or a really nice car. You know what's interesting about them? No matter how much you may despise the music they crank out, no matter how much you find a Grammy winner's entire existence to be an affront to people that have ears and know a thing or two about music, no matter how much you feel that way, and you are justified in feeling that way, one thing that you got to admire about all the people that were at the Grammy Awards, whether they were nominated or whether they received awards, is that they decided to take action in their lives. Whether that action was hiring a team of songwriters to rip off Tom Petty for you, or whether it was grinding away and working hard, action was taken by these people. Let's forget how we feel about the end result and just notice that they stepped out and they took action. 20 years from now, you're going to be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do than the ones that you did do. Throw off the bowlines, sail away from safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. Mark Twain.
Money making, skills on the mic, getting paid every day, and you're part of the battle, just bow down, better act like you know. And any sucker standing in the way is gonna pay. So you can't pay or get the hell up out my face. Humiliating every other runner in the race. Cause I'm just running and hunting just like a lion. Competition is slower and you're the dying. You gotta be better than that. You know you better believe that you will never be gettable. Never ever be better than me. Bow down to the crown. Down. Everybody bow down. Everybody bow down. Down. Everybody bow down. Super MCs with the eye with the crown. Down. Everybody bow down. Everybody bow down. Down. Everybody bow down. Super MCs with the eye with the crown. Whoa, 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 whoa. everybody better than me. Back once again with the ill behavior. Told them I'm anything, your musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AZ. Can't nobody rock a party better than
Are we on the air?
Hey, you, what's that sound? I'm coming so loud from your radio dial. AZ, we get it down when you're rocking the jams. Here I am, going back once again. I'm ruling all city like
So,
the king I am.
it turns out that the Grammys are a big fundraising event for both Republican and Democrats in Congress. More than a dozen attended this year's event. Basically, the music industry is facing a whole bunch of Washington scrutiny at the moment over issues like copyright law, performance royalties from streaming services. You know, people justifiably going like, yeah, Spotify's making money hand over fist off of streaming our music. Wait a second, our song's been played over 60 million times and we've received $253 for that. That doesn't seem right. So as we forge ahead into this new territory that is the digital age, and music delivery changes, and music delivery continues to generate gazillions of dollars, yet less and less of that gets funneled down to the artist. There's a lot of Washington scrutiny over issues of things like streaming rights, copyright law, performance royalties. And the Grammys provide a window into how politicians schmooze and raise money from those that they regulate. For example, Jerry Nadler, New York Democrat, he held a fundraiser on Saturday at the Soho House in West Hollywood. Apparently, Hollywood and recording industry executives from Universal and Sony hung out with songwriters. They served fried chicken and eggs and grits. Nadler spoke about how labels, artists, songwriters, and music publishers need to work together for a new music licensing system, while warning that infighting would kill that effort. And he was hardly alone. House Majority Whip Kevin McCarthy, he's a Republican from California, he held a fundraiser for his McCarthy Victory Fund at the Staples Center on Sunday. There were a bunch of other folks that had boxes at the Grammys. John Conyers, who's a Democrat from Michigan, he's a ranking member on the Judiciary Committee. Karen Bass, Democrat from California, they also held separate brunch fundraisers. It's a huge fundraising, schmoozing opportunity for politicians. That orgy of self-congratulations that is the Grammys. Yep, they made the rounds. Saturday brunches held by the American Society for Composers, Authors, and Publishers, ASCAP. I'm a member of ASCAP. Occasionally I get checks from them from my past life as a dude in a band. It's kind of cool. They look out for artists and musicians. And they they help us collect money that we are due, which, let's be real here, is no easy task. But yeah, they were descended upon by a bunch of political vultures looking for political contribution, influence, and an opportunity to rub shoulders with entertainment industry elite. Because that's what being a politician is all about, really, kind of, sort of, when you think about it. It's an opportunity to blow yourself up, become big, become self-important without really having anything to say. Can't be a songwriter, can't be an author, have no talent, have no creative ability. Well, go into politics. If you're still a self-obsessed megalomaniac and you have no way to get yourself there in terms of the entertainment industry or the sports industry, well, become a politician. Yep. Elton John dropped by some political Grammy events to talk with politicians, pose for photos. Lawmakers went to the Staples Center for a backstage Grammy tour and attended a briefing on the Spectrum issue. The industry has plenty at stake in Washington. So, yeah, as if the Grammys weren't a reprehensible enough celebration of nothing, it's now become a very politicized thing. Mostly because of this new performance royalty right for recording artists who don't get paid when their tracks are played on broadcast radio in America. They do in other countries. Or more flexibility for songwriters and music publishers who have less control over who can play their songs and for what fee, i.e. streaming services. Interesting. So if the Grammys seemed to stink of awful more than usual last night, there's a reason for it, because politics is more involved than ever. That said, let's take a look at what happened in the Grammys in our segment My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair. Certainly not balanced. Funkhauser. A, how are you? B, did you watch the Grammys? C, what is going on in the world?
D, please.
D, please. Yeah.
Yes, good. I did watch the Grammys. I told my girlfriend that Beck has 100% of the votes always. Whenever he's up there for any type of award, Beck always wins. And he came through. Kanye didn't like it too much, but...
Anything that upsets Kanye, I'm a fan of. So right away, I'm a fan of Beck winning the Grammys. Also, there's one thing about Beck, who, as I look at my Twitter page, is the top trend on the Grammys. There's one thing about Beck that I've always liked, in that he's creative. He's a creative individual. He's never, ever fit into what's cool. He was cool for one teeny tiny second. That song Loser that made his career. Do you know how that came about? It was an interesting one. He was... there's a line in that song where he talks about the daytime crap of a folk singer slob. He was exactly that, a folk singer slob. He was making no money. He was playing open mics in coffee houses, doing what he was doing, and really absolutely nothing was coming of his career. And he was so frustrated one night because he was playing and there was an audience there, but he's like, these people are more interested in drinking their coffee. These people are annoyed that I am disrupting their conversation by being the musical entertainment tonight. Beck felt like nobody was listening to him one fateful evening as he was playing a coffee house. And to prove to himself that nobody was listening and nobody cared as to what he was doing, he was like, I'm going to make up a song on the spot, and I'm going to give it the most ridiculous, stupid lyrics anyone's ever heard, and I bet nobody even notices. And so he did. He jumbled whatever the hell came into his mind out whilst playing the guitar. And he was absolutely right. This mismatched collection of lyrics and nothingness that he, on the spot, invented, nobody noticed. No one was like, oh, that's not a real song. Nobody noticed. Nobody cared. But the completely disjointed, jumbled, improvised, on-the-spot lyrics and chords that he came up with were, in fact, Loser. And that song that he wrote as a goof to prove that nobody was paying attention to him became a song that changed the scope of his life and changed the scope of radio at the time, too. It was an interesting one.
And it helped me learn Spanish.
Sí, como no. Es la verdad. I only learned that soy una parador, like, when it came out. Like, I don't know, loser's not one of those words that you're taught in middle schooling Spanish class, And it took... It took forever. Plus, did anybody really understand what he was saying when that song first came out? I thought he was saying something about sodium pentothal. Because, I don't know, I really... Isn't that truth serum or something like that? So you inject someone with sodium pentothal and they tell the truth. And I thought it had something to do with truth, because when he's saying soy una parador, I thought he was saying sodium pentothal. I'm a loser, baby. Anyways, misunderstood that one for the first 10 years or so. But the thing that I love about Beck is that, besides the fact that he came to prominence because of a completely random set of circumstances and a dissatisfaction with where he was at in life, leading to a desperate act, that's really good. When you're not happy with where you are and you do something desperate and ridiculous that's outside of what you would usually do, a lot of time that can yield results, and it did for Beck, and that's cool and everything. But Beck's a creative guy. 9 times out of 10. When I listen to a Beck album, I get surprised. And I don't love everything on there, but I think it's really cool that he won. That said, in the same way that I hadn't seen American Sniper, so I'm not going to talk about it on the radio and weigh in and give opinions until I have, I also haven't heard the new Beck album. So there's that. So I don't know whether I feel like he deserved to win it or not, but I know he's a creative guy, and that I thought was